Good morning. I'm piggybacking off of a video that I just made regarding how the moon can affect our sleep. So I wrote a thing up on this as well, but on the off chance you don't read it. The moon has a huge effect on men and women, regardless of if they're in hormonal fluctuation or not. And so, I mean, the actual magnetic pull of the moon will, where'd my brain go? Will, see, my ADHD showing. The magnetic pull of the moon has had lots of studies and research done regarding on its effects on men and women. We already know that our bodies are supposed to be naturally in sync with the circadian rhythm or the cycles of the moon, going from full bright all the way down to the waning aspect of it, and then the building of it and to the new moon. Actually, it was backwards. Damn, this is what happens when you don't have sleep. Your full moon going down and going down then to the dark moon and then building back up to the full moon. You understood what I was saying. Anyways, the effects that the moon has on men and women is well known and has been studied. But there have also been studies that show pretty strongly how the effects of the moon have its hold on women's hormones. So in ancient times, well, not even so ancient times, women's blood would flow predominantly around the time of a full moon. And studies have shown that women who are in the northern hemisphere tend to have a much better sync up with the full moon than those in the lower hemisphere. And so we do know that there is a correlation there with the moon and hormones. But I found another study that was done in Australia, which I found really interesting considering they're more the southernmost region or whatever. I found that they did a study on women who were menopausal and perimenopausal, and that the moon itself had even greater effects on women going through these massive fluctuations, not just their monthly cycle. So, regardless if you're in menopause or perimenopause or you're PMSing, it negatively can affect you, and it negatively affects your sleep. So then this causes you to have more sleeplessness, difficulty falling asleep, experiencing less of a deeper sleep. Men's patterns for this may be affected a little differently, but majoritively not completely at all. It really is just, it affects women more than it does men. But I don't want to take men out of the mix because, that's a big, huge, giant satellite that is floating around our Earth, and we are not the only ones in it. But they've also studied female primates, and there is a huge correlation on hormone fluctuation and sleeplessness in primates during this time, in female primates. So I just find it so interesting, but also so incredibly maddening, because we've got our own problems having ADHD and stress and, brain fog and issues with sleep. And then you put, if you were just ADHD and you had PMS once a month, okay. But then you add on perimenopause with some massive spikes and dips in hormones. And if you're trying to sleep, even if you're trying to sleep in a room that's completely pitch black, it will still get you, because I was laying in bed. So today is the third day. Full moons typically have like a 4-day run where they're considered a full moon. And last night was the third day of a mega full supermoon, meaning like it was really, really, really close to the earth. And so being that it's really, really close to the earth, it has even greater of a magnetic pull. This is about the time where you see a lot of shifts in the in the oceans and the tides and everything. I'm trying to find my words because I'm very blurry this morning. But it also, most people don't understand and realize that the earth is not completely round. No, I'm not a flat earther, so don't come at me. But the earth is not like completely spherical. It is actually a little bit more of an egg shape. Not so much so that it's very noticeable, but we definitely have a bit of a converse or overse curvature to the earth. And so when the earth is rotating on its axis, as a full moon kind of occurs, there is a greater draw and a greater pull. And it is believed that pull is part of the reason why we have a little bit of an elongation of the earth. If you don't believe me, go online and look it up. Go to NASA. I think I learned it there a couple of years ago. But there's a lot that our moon affects on the planet. And so last night when I was laying in bed and I wake up at 2:00 in the morning, I have double blackout curtains on my window. And it was like somebody was shining a light right through it. And I woke up, and I typically really enjoy having complete pitch black in the room, just because if I do float in and out of sleep, if my eyes open, there's nothing there to trigger my awakeness or my alertness. Like, my husband puts his alarm clock on, we have battery powered alarm clock. He puts it on his side of the bed on the floor, so then I can't see that. We don't have anything plugged in our room. We don't allow having phones or anything in there. So there's no light. And there's nothing plugged in. There's no little itty bitty green lights and something. So it helps me sleep. Now, we won't even go over the fact that my husband snores and I have to wear earplugs. That is a completely separate issue. But when I woke up and I saw that my window was completely bright, and lit up, I was like, shit. And of course, when I wake up, I don't know about you, but when I wake up, I have to pee. And if peeing doesn't wake you up, if you do wake up, your body goes, oh, there's something you got to get rid of. So of course I had to get up, and I went to go to the bathroom, and we have an enormous window in our bathroom. It is actually much, much larger than it probably needs to be. And, I just remember looking out my window thinking that there was snow on the ground because it was so bright. And then second of all, wondering if it was really, really like 7:00 in the morning. And maybe I was late for something, because the way that the light was so encompassing, I thought we were nearing dawn. So after I got my head straight and realized that it was just moonlight and not snow, and I had to run over to the clock in our living room just to look and make sure. It was like 2:30 in the morning. It was 2:30 in the morning. And of course, I could not get to sleep. The whole of my house was completely bright because we don't have curtains on the windows. We have some shears, but that's just, to give them a little bit of dressing, but for the most part, there's nothing stopping light coming through in our main room. And I just sat on the couch and I was trying to go back to sleep, and I just couldn't. So see, this is the effects. So anyways, I did get a chance to go back to sleep, but it's Saturday, so I was happy about that. But the last 2 days, woke up at 2:30. One time was 12:30, and like another was like 3. It was really difficult to get back to sleep. And I knew that I had been sleeping really well the week before. So I know that it had very little to do with hormones at that point and everything to do with the effects of the moon. And, of course, it does not help that I am 48 hours away from my projected start time for my own cycle. So it's just a little bit crazy right now. So anyways, this is why I look derpy this morning. And I'm having a hard time. I'm really tired. Sorry. So anyways, if you were wondering if the moon had any effect on you whatsoever, it does. Now, if I could give you some advice, I would. I mean, there are some things that you can do. You can, if you know that you're going to struggle during a full moon, you can absolutely make sure to, block out the light coming in from your windows. But the magnetic pull is not just the light. It will affect you through your house. So maybe drink some kind of a nice, warm, calming tea before you go to bed. Or if you know that you're one that's going to get up, prep something that's on the stove that you can just turn on and get going right away. Never try to microwave anything, because that's just that's a whole other can of worms. Or maybe a THC gummy that will help you sleep throughout the entire night. If it's absolutely necessary that you take a sleeping, a pharmaceutical grade sleeping aid, then that's completely up to you. But it is a really good idea, especially as a woman, to know what cycle you're in and what phase you're in with the moon, because it absolutely helps. It helps you understand your body better. It helps you understand your cycles better, because moon cycles are 28 days, just like your menstrual cycles. And it's really important to understand that. And you can really sync yourself up. But when you're dealing with, you can do all the things right and be hit with a mega full supermoon and still get screwed. So anyways, I hope that this has helped. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like this, share. And we'll talk again soon after I've gotten sleep and a shower.